Hello, happy stampers. This is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, and I have a new project for you today. I don't know if you remember, but if you haven't seen it yet, I did a box video on the 19th of June. And when I was doing that video, I decided to make this cap, the top for the box, have a fun edge, and I used the Basic Borders dies, this little zigzag die, to do that. And when I did that, there were some cute pieces that got saved that I saved when I did that. And I go, there ought to be something I can do with those on a card. So today's card, I'm going to use these. Let me show you what I did. This is today's card. I left it blank. Sentiments are easy to add, and so that's why it's blank. This is using the prized Peony stamp set and the Peony dies. And it also includes the use of the brick and mortar embossing folder. So those are the tools that I'm going to be using, including those border dies. Now let me show you how I created. I only had a couple of these, and I used them to make this card. So then I had to make some more to do the sample for you. So here's how I did that, in case you didn't see it on the other video. I'm looking for my washi tape. I put it on the edge of the card front first and cut it out. So there's the card front. Maybe we should get some more light in here. That might help. And so that's what I did there. And that saved a piece like that came out of there. And then I had this piece left over from my box top that I did. And to get that white edge, I just put this die down so that the tips touched the edge of the card. And then I held it in place with some washi tape and ran it through the Stampin' Cut emboss machine. Okay, so that's how I got the pieces. I did that with both the DSP and this DSP came from the Pansy Petals Designer Series papers. And that's a bumblebee yellow. So then I'm going to attach this to the card. Get my card pieces in here. And I've already attached one of them together, the layer that I'm going to do. This one only needs this yellow piece attached like that. And I'm going to be using my Zig 2-way glue pen to do that. Any liquid glue would work. I'm just going to put a little dot of glue in each of those. Now let's get a little bit up here too, so we make sure those edges get glued down. And then I'll just line this up if I can get a hold of it. And I'm going to line it up so that the stitching shows all the way across. Just like that. Get it to stick. Takes a second for it to dry, which is nice because then I can adjust it. Get it exactly where I need it to be. And so that's my card front, and I'm just going to just trim off I get my scissors here so I can trim off the extra. Just like that. So there's that part of it. And then this one, you can see in the sample, is offset. So all you see are just the tips of that. And so I'm going to offset it like that. And so then for this, I just need to put a bead of glue right across here. and then put it on so it's offset. Now I did cut these pieces 6 inches wide instead of the 5.5, so that it would, because this die is a full 6 inches wide, long, I guess I should say. And that way it gives you a little bit of extra length for when you're lining everything up. You have enough excess length to get everything lined up like you want. So there's that part of the card front. So I thought that was pretty good use, actually, of those little pieces that I had cut out from the box top. Then I'm going to just fold this over and let's see, let's do it this way. I want to make sure that I line up, because it's going to, the tips of this, get this in here right. Here we go. There we go. That looks better. So there's that, the card front. I like it. Okay. Then I cut a piece of regular Whisper White, and I cut it initially 5 1/4 by 3 5/8. I think it's too wide. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut it down just a little bit. Let's measure and see how much that needs to be. I have 3 1/2, so I want to go 3 1/4 inches wide. So let's cut a little bit of this off, because I want to leave an 1/8 inch border all the way around this piece. I don't want it to be on the whole thing. So we'll get that. Oops, I bumped my camera. Boy, don't you just love it when I do that. Okay, and because it's up above me. So now I am going to attach this flat just like this, and that's that beautiful brick and mortar background. But before I do that, I wanted a little bit of shading on it, and so I used a foam brayer, and I put some smoky slate ink on it, and I'm just gonna add just a little bit of color like that, and then we will attach that with Stampin' Seal. Now this piece has the texture on it, so not as much of it is touching the card as it would be if it were not textured. And so I am going to add a nice big X across the middle so that it will have lots of space to adhere to the card. And then I'm going to put it down with that 1/8 inch border all the way around, just like that. So there's that piece. Now comes the flower building, and okay, I'm going to have to splice my video because I had to stop for a minute, but I'm back. Let's see if I can remember where we were at. I was showing you the layout. This gives you instructions on how to build the flower and the leaves, so that's kind of handy. We'll get that out of the way for the moment. I made these flowers out with vellum, and then I colored them with blending brushes and sponge daubers. So the vellum is white, and when you put the regular ink on them from Stampin' Up, the regular ink, it takes a while to dry. So I had to do these ahead of time so that they would be dry and ready to use. And I colored them first, the vellum, with Bumblebee, and put on however much I wanted to tint it, and with Soft Succulent. Then I came back with a sponge dauber and Mango Melody, and did the edges with a sponge dauber. And this is how I store my sponge daubers. I have these little cases. I think they're for fishing tackle or something, and I got them at Walmart. They were only like $5, but they work perfect for putting the sponge daubers in. So this is the Mango Melody sponge dauber, and I just took it and inked it up, and I inked these pieces that show up in the front, I inked those, and then I inked the edges. And then I came back and added just a little more shading, however you feel it could benefit the look of the flower. So that's how I did the flower. And there are 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as you see in the picture that I put the arrow, this little notch here is how you line them up. You line up that little notch and attach them to each other. And I'm going to be attaching them with just a little glue dot. Now, most of the videos show you putting the pieces together from the top down. I've actually just found, having made a few, that it's easier for me if I do them from the bottom up. And that way I can put the glue dot on it and it's in place and stays in place. And so let me show you what I mean. Put a glue dot right there, and then I can slide it up through, and you can see you slide it behind the top part like that. And then once you have your edges lined up, you can just stick them together. And again, just slide it up through, line up your edges, close enough, and it's looking lovely already. And then on the last one, I'm not going to put a glue dot behind that one. I want to hide those, so I'm going to slide it through. And line it up just like that. And I'm going to turn it over because there's all those layers there to kind of hide that. And I'm just going to put one here to kind of hold it in place. That's going to get some leaves, so it's not going to matter. So there's the basic flower. And then the stamen I did with a really nice dark layer of Mango Melody. I keep saying the wrong word. Mango Melody. And we're going to put a little glue dot on the bottom of that. And it tucks in right in here between those two little guys, right in here. So I'm just going to kind of pick it up and push it down in there, however far I think it needs to go, and stick it in place. There's the flower. Oops, my piece stuck. You know how that goes. Sometimes it just takes a while to get it all together. Okay, so there's the flower. Now for the leaves, I'm going to just put a glue dot on the front of each of the large ones. Because they're 2 sizes, and I'm having trouble picking things up today. And then I'm just gonna put them together like that. And then we'll put another glue dot on the front. And decide where we want the leaves to come. And I kind of went with them both coming out on the same side of the flower, which is perfectly fine. And there is my completed flower. And then I'm going to put it on with dimensionals. And because there's enough of layers, the dimensionals don't show through. So I kept the dimensionals behind all of the layers. Get that out there. And then put this. And you can put, of course, put it anywhere you want on the front of the card. So there's how I utilized those leftover pieces to make a card, and how to use the peony dies as well. I haven't used them enough to really appreciate just how beautiful they really are. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I thank you for stopping by. Be sure and check in the description below for a link to my online store, because I would love to have you shop with me. You can also contact me and I will help you place your order. Thanks so much.